By December of 2069, the steel and concrete shell of Vault 106 stood complete. In just 5 years, the project had been driven from blueprints to buried reality. A hidden sanctuary prepared to house 107 souls. 95 of them would enter as unwitting subjects, while 12 carried the title researcher. Their fate was sealed for a projected span of 147 months. 12 long years and 3 uneasy months underground. At the heart of the facility pulsed the Think Machine 2800X. Its circuitry tasked with governing every subsystem, from life support to the locking of the vault door. Power flows steadily through veins of rock-solid brand geothermal energy, with the quiet hum of General Atomics' nuclear reactor, ready to shoulder the load should the Earth's fire falter. Overseeing it all was Dr. Overseer Leris, the cold and meticulous head of Vault-Tec's Psychological Research Department. His appointment as Overseer was no accident. Every file, every reference to the true purpose of Vault 106 had been scrubbed, redacted, and hidden beneath layers of secrecy that only he was permitted to access. Behind the locked doors of his office, Leris alone held the key to the experiment's design. An experiment the inhabitants would never know they were part of. The true purpose of 106 was hidden behind layers of bureaucratic silence. Its experiment was cruel in its simplicity. 10 days after the great steel door sealed shut, the vault itself would turn against its inhabitants. When the countdown reached its end, Overseer Leris authorized preparations for what was only known in redacted files as Control Sequence 46-2A. Security officers and medical staff worked in uneasy silence, following their orders with the precision of a ritual. The vault's circulation system was purged, calibrated, and then primed with its unseen weapon, an engineered psychoactive compound designed to warp the mind while leaving the body intact. In 50-30 hours, the system came alive. Pumps throbbed, filters whispered, and the drug spread like a ghost through every vent and conduit. By 1600, the release was complete. The air itself carried the experiment now. The residents never knew. No announcements were made, no warnings given. When the first hallucinations began, the Overseer reports dismissed them as irregularities. For those trapped within Vault 106, the nightmare had already begun. Delivered not by an intruder or a malfunction, but by the very walls that sheltered them. The release proved catastrophic. At first, many of the dwellers drifted into a dreamlike haze. Lulled by the drug's hallucinogenic grip, their eyes glazed, their voices slurred into laughter or incoherent ramblings, and they wandered the corridors as if in a trance. But not everyone succumbed so gently. For some, visions twisted into paranoia and rage. They shouted at shadows, lashed out at neighbors, and in their madness turned the steel corridors into hunting grounds. The security chief struggled to maintain order, barking desperate orders through the intercom. He urged the few who remained clear-headed to barricade themselves, to seek shelter in the far corners of the vault, where the air might still be clean. His efforts were a losing battle. The vault itself was poisoned, its very breath betraying those inside. At the farthest end of the complex, desperation left its final mark. There, in a cave-like chamber carved into the earth, the remains of the last defiance lay in silent testimony. Scattered skeletons told of violence and despair, while among the bones sat a weapon of ultimate finality, a mini-nuke. Its presence whispered of a last terrible plan, that in their terror, some had tried to blast their way to freedom, or perhaps end it all in fire. For 2 centuries, Vault 106 remained a trap hidden beneath the earth. The great door stood half forgotten, yet still it lured the curious, the scavenger, the wanderer, and the desperate traveler. Those who stepped inside found not salvation, but the same poison that had damned the original inhabitants. The air itself was tainted, the circulation systems still obediently pumping the psychoactive gas through every vent and corridor, as though the experiment had never ended. Anyone who breathed it too long fell under its spell. Hallucinations wrapped around them like a shroud, and slowly they forgot who they were, what world they had come from, and why they had entered at all. In their broken minds, they were no longer intruders. They were the residents of Vault 106, continuing lives that had ended centuries ago. They wandered the dimly lit halls in endless loops, murmuring to ghosts, laughing at visions only they could see. The vault had become a mausoleum, and its keepers, unknowingly, were the very victims it continued to create.